From a bedrock with an Enderman face to a sandstone with the number 2 hidden. The textures of Minecraft hide many secrets, and today I will show each one to you, revealing things that you won't be able to unsee in Minecraft. Starting with the campfire, at first glance, it doesn't seem like anything is hidden. But if I go into my inventory, grab a shovel, which can be made of any material, even a wooden shovel, and put out the fire from this campfire, the face of a Minecraft cat is revealed right underneath the fire. Are you going to say it's not identical, bro? This also works, of course, for the bonfire of souls, right? If you put out its fire, a cat face will also be revealed. This was just the first secret of the first category of this video. Because to make it easier, I divided it into 4 categories: block textures, mobs and characters, various details, and other anomalies. The second block of this category is actually several blocks to show that Mojang is very lazy. Just kidding, man. If I were creating this game, I would do the same, which is to repeat textures. If you take a look at all these blocks here, you will see that their texture is reused. And it all started here with the cobblestone, which was reused to make the end stone, just the colors were inverted, right? So much so that if we invert the color of the image now, they will look quite similar to each other. The sandstone was heavily inspired by the cobblestone. Mossy cobblestone obviously was inspired by the cobblestone, because it's the same block, just dirty with grass. And the magma block is very similar to the cobblestone, just with a different color and small bits of lava in the middle. This also applies to these brick blocks here, right? We have the stone bricks from the end, purple, and even the new copper bricks, which are quite similar to each other. If you compare these two, they seem the same. There are the red bricks, which are the same as those from the fortress, which are the same as the nether bricks, and of course, all inspired by the standard brick. The woods, I don't even need to mention, but what impresses the most right away are these 6 blocks here. If you look closely, you can even feel a similarity in the gravel compared to the cobblestone. Now here in the temple, we have one that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, which is here in this block. Looking like this, we can't notice the difference because I need to come here and put the old Minecraft texture to run. In the old texture of Minecraft, there was a number 2 hidden in the chiseled sandstone. Tell me if this isn't a really crazy thing, man. Why is there a hidden number 2? Could she have been the number 2 texture of sandstone? Now something that once you see it, you will never be able to unsee. And I even apologize for being the person who will show you this. But the bricks aren't aligned. You can notice that the texture of the brick, if you put several here next to each other, they start looking nice, right? Forming a wonderful texture, a really beautiful brick house. But if you go up here on this line, you'll notice that it doesn't align with the top line of the block, and that's very, very annoying. This is repeated for the nether one, it's repeated for the red one, and also for the resin brick. Still in the line of things that will annoy you, we have this block. Can you see any problem with it? Maybe not at first glance, but it is a block with a little square in the middle. However, I regret to inform you that this little square here is not in the middle of the block. If you count the pixels here to the left, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and to the right, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pixels. And the best way to reveal this to you is by placing a torch in the middle of the block. You can see that it doesn't align with the block because the block is dirt. I'm sorry, I think with this, I just ruined 50% of your experience with Minecraft. Wow, it could be an editing trick here, and you wouldn't be able to tell it's mine. Now a fun fact is that of the ore blocks. The only ones that repeat texture are the gold blocks and the diamond blocks. You might notice that the iron block has its textures kind of horizontal, and the copper block has a screw here at the corners, right? And the netherite block, not to mention it has a much more reinforced texture. As for the gold block and the diamond block, they use exactly the same texture. A very old curiosity is that this prismarine block keeps changing color. Looking at it like this still, maybe you can't notice. I can see that it changes a bit to blue, a bit to cyan, a bit to green. Look at this comparison of the block at different times. And it's not just this block here that has animated texture in the guardian structure, right? Besides that, the sea lantern block also has an animation that pulses. Look how cool, man. If we increase the contrast of the video, it becomes even more visible. The next item is here in the end. If we analyze the base of the end crystal, it has a bedrock texture. However, this bedrock here is different from the actual bedrock, the official bedrock of the game, because this base uses the old bedrock texture. Look, on the left side of the crystal, you are seeing the current texture, and on the right side of the crystal, you are seeing the old texture. This part of the end crystal is much more similar to the old texture, while this part is much more similar to the new texture. And still talking about bedrocks, we have some hidden faces in the bedrock. This is very bizarre because it seems that since bedrock is called rocha matriz, which is its official name in Portuguese, at least it was in my time, it seems like it's the matrix of many things. So if we take a look at this place here, we will see it looks like the eyes of a little dog or even the face of a player. If you look at the junction of these bedrocks, it looks like a nether star. If we turn a little, we find the perfect face of a wither inside the bedrock. This is very interesting. If we turn again, we find the face of the Enderman, which I mentioned at the beginning of the video. But exactly in this part here, it looks like the face of a character from the channel Guillermo. Take a look. This is the piece of bedrock with Guillermo's face. And this is Guillermo's face. Doesn't it look similar? And if you keep looking, you'll keep finding things infinitely here, especially if you put more bedrocks side by side. I just couldn't find anything looking at it from the side like this. Vertically, look, when it has these blocks, these lines more upwards, but if you look in this direction or that direction, you'll find a lot of stuff. And this item here was kind of a transition to the next category as we just finished the block textures, and now we're going to category number 2 of this video, mobs and faces. And the first curiosity about mobs is about the Guardian and the Elder Guardian. In Minecraft, you can spawn stationary mobs. For example, if I give this command here, I will spawn a normal villager. See, it's a villager that can walk and look around, but now I don't need it. If I put no AI true at the end, it will spawn a villager without intelligence. It is completely stationary, it doesn't move, it's a villager that you can't even push, see? However, the secret here is that the Guardian spawned with the command to stay still, does not stay still. First, it keeps flapping its fins a lot, even when stationary, and the main thing is that its eyes keep following the player even when it's still. Look how interesting, man. It looks like that image of the little dragon that keeps looking at you, which went viral on the internet a few years ago. Detail is, he doesn't attack the player here we have is the one who attacked me, but it's because I attacked him. He has thorns right here. We have a Guardian with the effect of not moving. He doesn't attack me, but even so, he keeps looking at me wherever I go. The next item is very strange. I'm sure that once you see this here, you'll never be able to unsee it in Minecraft, which is the fact that your dog goes through the block, and your cat does too. It may not seem like it from up here, but do you see that a piece of the cat is missing here? Normally it should follow up to here and then curve to make the bottom part of its belly. Where is that piece? It's underground, bro! A part of cats and dogs when they are sitting is underground. Look, the paw when it's sitting shows only this little white piece. But when you go underground, you can see there are a lot more pieces, bro. The best way to show this is by pushing him right to the corner of a block and breaking it. You'll see he really goes underground. The same thing happens with the Minecraft dogs. Another curiosity about mobs, which you will definitely never be able to unsee, is that besides the normal face of the llama, on its nose it looks like there's a little face, man. Take a look at this. If we get really close, it even looks like the Sugar skin. You don't know Sugar, my friend. This is his skin and this is the llama's skin. And now one of the funniest in this video. See this emoji here? That emoji you send when you're scared or shocked by something. Mojang decided to hide this little face in the azalea block. It looks a lot like the scared emoji. And now a more kawaii curiosity is that the face of the piglin, if you look closely, you can see the face of an anime girl. Man, it looks like an anime girl in piglin cosplay. It seems like she's wearing a piglin costume head. Now moving on to another mob, the villager. We have the villager with the armorer profession, the profession it gets when you place the blast furnace. In case you haven't seen it yet, it has a little face, or at least something that looks like 2 eyes on its hat. And one of the funniest things in this video is about the sniffer's face, which, if you look closely, looks like 2 things. It looks like Pac-Man, and besides Pac-Man, if you try hard enough, it looks like that expressionless emoji, you know? And one detail, it used to look much more like that emoji. Good thing they updated the texture. One more thing you won't be able to unsee is that there are only 2 Minecraft heads that have this hole underneath. I think that hole is to fit the player's head, right? Because the player's head needs to fit somewhere. However, it's only the skeleton and the wither skeleton that have it, because the dragon head doesn't have any hole to fit the head. The piglins doesn't either, the creepers doesn't either, the zombies has a hole simulator, but it's not a hole, and Steve's has nothing. But this doesn't affect much because we usually place the heads like this and we look from top to bottom. But if you start messing with heads now, you'll never say that again. And look how curious, you can see his face inside the head too, man. And it seems like there's something written deep inside the head. Leave a like on the video. Now, I'm going to show you a sequence of blocks that represent mobs. This one is the chiseled tuft, and it represents the breeze because of these winds here. This one is the chiseled resin bricks, and it clearly has the face of a creaking, which, for those who don't know, is this creature here. I didn't think I was that powerful, man. I just gave him a little tap. Moving on, we know there's the chiseled sandstone that has the head of a creeper, but this is pretty well known, right? Everyone knows. But one thing you might not know is that the production died here while making this video. My god, what happened here, man? But actually, it's about the chiseled nether brick block. It has the head of a wither printed, man. This is really cool. This is one of the most hyped blocks in Minecraft, in my opinion. There's also the chiseled polished blackstone that has the nose of a piglin, right? And also this block here from the end city, the chiseled deep slate, which you might say looks like a warden because of the ears sticking out. But actually, it looks much more like an armadillo, man. Look at the face of this armadillo and tell me it doesn't look like the face of this block here. And detail when the armadillo is in the closed mode. There's something on the side that looks a lot like the warden's mouth. This one I'm sure you didn't know, man. In other words, this block refers to the armadillo, and the closed armadillo refers to the warden's mouth, making a very interesting connection between the blocks and mobs. And now we close this category of mobs and move on to the next one, which is the category of various details. This one is one of the coolest in my opinion, but you will definitely get annoyed after discovering some things here. That's because there are things like a sign that doesn't stick to the block. Look how annoying, man. The sign is floating. There's a pixel between the sign and the block. Why isn't it attached to the block, dude? This also applies to stairs, man. Looking from the front, it seems fine. But from the side, the stairs are also floating. They are a few pixels away from the block. Oh, why Minecraft? Why? This one is a little less irritating because it's understandable, right? But the chest on the boat is smaller than the chest on land. This is crazy, right? Because the chest simply shrinks to fit in the boat. This chest here is 12 pixels wide, while this chest here is 14 pixels. In other words, the texture is really different to fit inside the boat. You can even see that the part around the latch of the chest is a bit lighter on the normal chest. And here on the boat chest, it looks a bit darker. It might be due to the pixel condensation needed to fit a 14 pixel chest into 12 pixels. Still talking about the chest, maybe you've noticed, but never so clearly. The lock on the chest looks exactly like the villager's nose. He's saying no, but it seems to me, man, look at this, any resemblance is purely coincidental. Speaking now about the bookshelves. If you pay close attention, there are 3 Among Us characters hidden. Look at this. Are you going to tell me that's not the red Among Us? And this one here, doesn't it look like the yellow Among Us? And the worst of them, the cyan Among Us, who is always the imposter. There's another curiosity about the command block too. Unfortunately, you're going to be very annoyed, but it is also misaligned in terms of pixels. Look, if we count after this black part, there are 1 and 2 pixels this way, 1 and 2 pixels that way. However, if you count to the left, there are 1, 2, 3 pixels and 1, 2, 3 pixels up. We can clearly see this by placing a torch on top of the command block. It becomes quite crooked, just like that smooth carved stone I showed you earlier. This happens because it has these little colored dots that keep changing color, which are just 1 pixel. But 1 pixel is an odd number, and all Minecraft blocks have 16 pixels by 16 pixels, which are even numbers. So there's no way to place an odd thing in the middle of an even thing and still make sense. There is, but then Mojang didn't want to, right? Still talking about the torch, but in a different way. You can clearly notice that the texture of the torch is repeated in the texture of the lever. It's like an unlit torch, you know? And you can place it downwards too. This becomes even clearer when you compare the items. Look how interesting, man. It's literally the same texture, just reused. There might be a little something different there. 1 pixel up, another down. But I'm sure the Mojang designer downloaded the torch texture, made some changes, and called it a lever. Tell me something about Minecraft fences. You're always used to making fences 100% closed, right? So the mobs don't escape and all. But this is annoying because to enter, you have to place a block or a ladder. If you want to leave, you have to open and close the little gate, right? And then the creatures escape. Look how curious, man. If you place fences diagonally, make an enclosure in this shape here. Even when it is open, the mobs cannot escape. This is proven when I take the wheat and try to lure the animals out of this completely open pen, and they do not come. And now I am going to make you even more annoyed because I am going to teleport to a pillager outpost. Look, here is a pillager outpost, and looking here it seems all normal, right? But when I reveal what's wrong with it, you'll never be able to unsee it. See this shape here in the corner with the wooden blocks? Look, it goes up 2, 1 to the right, up 1 more, and 3 this way. Here the same thing. Up, this way, up, and this way. Here too, here too, here too, and here too. But there's one side of this structure that doesn't have this middle block, and this is very annoying, man. The structure should actually be like this, but it came into the game missing a wooden block here and a wooden block here. And now the category of various details has ended, and we are moving to the category of other anomalies. And here we have a general curiosity about the composter. You can put practically anything organic inside it. Look, I can put carrots, I can put grass, I can put any type of flour in here, look, and it will turn into bone meal. But if I try to put bamboo, which is also an organic thing, there's no way to put bamboo in the composter. I don't know if this makes sense, but it's something, an anomaly that I ended up finding that you will never be able to unsee in Minecraft. And to finish with a flourish, we are going to look for a library in these villagers' house. There's no library here, there's no library here, there's no library here, so I'm not going to keep looking. You're crazy, man. The villagers here don't like to study. There's no library, so I'm going to take a book here in creative mode and reveal it to you. There's something crooked here. See these little textures here that look like a spiral? I don't know, they look like little holes to put the pages. If you come down exactly here, you'll notice that suddenly in the middle of the page, it shifts 1 pixel to the left. What's the point of that? I don't know, but those were the 30 things you will never be able to unsee in Minecraft. Whenever you see them in the game, you'll remember this. I invite you to come here and comment whenever you see this then. I hope that in 10 years there will still be comments. Or Mojang will have fixed this, right? Thanks for watching. Click on the video that's appearing on the screen now and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
O Geleia sabe que você é muito legal. Na moral, você assistiu até o final. Uau!